What's up, my friends? Welcome to another Global Macro Report. I think that's what we'll call these, a report. These are videos that I do from time to time. Shot one before, a little over a month ago, I want to say. I think we need to start picking a theme to these videos and definitely give them more structure, as they will be a sequence, or a series rather, moving forward on the channel. So today's, I think we'll title Portfolio, and we're going to talk about the macro portfolio strategy, the behaviors, beliefs around this, and really how things are changing. One of the things that terrifies me is just how little people are willing to look into the future. You know, unfortunately, we live in a society where most people do follow. Most people are waiting for somebody else to tell them what to do. You can see this in every micro or macro market, where a lot of people are copying each other, getting in line, waiting for somebody to essentially tell them what to do. This, I think, is a tragedy. And if we are to really get out into space and start to intergalactically travel, there will need to be more people who are quote unquote woke, that are able to be the trendsetter, are able to have a vision, have creativity, and have the balls to chase that and go do something different. I think that we've seen a lot of the old way of doing things for baby boomers be completely shattered. And even right now, like if we look at the world around us, we see that there is a complete range from 0 to 100, let's call it. You have millennials who actually fit into my demographic, even though I don't really associate with them, with the different micro behaviors. So you really do get a variety, though, in the millennial group. And that's fine, right? So that group, for the most part, on the low end of the scale, you know, a lot of them were kind of born and raised with technology and phones, and even a generation after them, you know, basically born with a tablet in their hand to watch YouTubes that parents don't have to really be parents because they're too busy working 2-3 jobs. That whole generation that's been essentially born and raised with electronics is saying, what's next? What's next? What's next? Wow, this is so slow. Why is the internet so slow? Why is everything so slow? And you have baby boomers at the other end of the scale, right? Like my parents, depending on what age you are, your parents, that are saying, wow, man, if we could just slow down for a second, if we could just, take a break, sit down, let's breathe for a minute. All the news, all the inundation of agendas and framing and propaganda, right? They're just begging for a minute of freedom for themselves. It doesn't matter why or what we could do to change that, right? That's not really the scope of this conversation. It's just that those exist right now. And right now, let's bring it full circle and talk about portfolios. Let's talk about what's acceptable right now. And really, the old life cycle that I just think is an absolute joke, 100% will be laughed at and referenced as the good old days very soon, as a time when things were much simpler, right? The current life cycle of an economist or a market predictor or a guru, right? A American guru, which they've hijacked that word from Hindu culture. The original word guru did mean somebody who was meant to lead. And it was charted out from their birthday, from when they were born, down to the time of day that they were born. They were meant to be a guru. That's what the Hindus believed. Now that word has essentially been hijacked by Western culture for anyone who claims and touts around that they're an expert in something. They are the guru, right? And I think that word is pretty much burnt out. There's new words that people are calling themselves from a marketing standpoint, because market sophistication is always shifting. So we need new words to work on people so that they buy the guru stuff. So the typical economist or financial guru has maybe made one good call in their whole life. And they're riding that to the bank. Because they made that good call and they're well, now it matters, but it didn't used to before, but because they're politically correct, and then they garner, a big social media following, they get a book deal, they get touted around and paraded around on CNBC, Fast Money, maybe even some Bloomberg stuff, maybe some morning shows. They are the expert. They are the guru. And they sit back and they make their newsletter and they write books and they make impactful tweets, and they essentially just have to kind of sit back and talk shit about their subject matter forever and ever and ever, and that's it. And their life is fulfilled and complete, and they make a ton of money, and that's it. It's over with. I think this model is quite broken, even for people who've made amazing calls in the past. You don't see somebody consistently making great calls. You see people, like I said, again, if they even have one call that was correct or spot on, they're riding that thing to the bank. Now that's the old life cycle. That's even some aspects of not necessarily value investing, but Warren Buffett's approach to value investing, right? To own something for a lifetime. He's very much all your eggs in one basket, even though he doesn't necessarily do that with his portfolio. And one could argue that having billions of dollars for a portfolio is a much different strategy than average Joe who's got maybe 10,000. There's this old concept that's also in this. So you've got the expert who's maybe made one good call, and then you've got the average investor who wants to put all of his money into one thing because he was taught to get one job and work that job forever, get one wife, have 2 kids, and you work that job for 40 years and retire. That is the old model. That is the old life cycle of how this planet operated. That was perpetuated by the West. Now that whole model is dead, and that, to me, quite laughable even right now, shooting this in 2019. The new model is going to be one that you don't have to be an expert in one area. You're banking on the fact that there's enough easy calls to make based on where just the natural progression and flow of things are going. We're not talking about trying to predict new tech and that sort of thing. We're just seeing where things are already naturally going and making assumptions based off of that. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they have both successfully tested relandable rockets. We are going to Mars. We are going into outer space in the next 10 years or less. You can either choose to accept that or not. It doesn't change that progress. And you can even see proof of that because, why is Elon Musk being so scrutinized? We had the news recently where his SEC lawyer has to approve every tweet now. Do you know of a single CEO who has that rule imposed against them? Do you know of a even acting president or government official? Shouldn't they all be under the same rule? Remember, yes is yes, no is no. So if it's true over here, it has to be true over there. And that's the thing that you'll never see in American politics, is you'll never see a fair and just universal truth or law. It's always up for interpretation. And this is what makes it so confusing for your average person and frustrating, I think. But these people essentially have a different set of rules, right? And so they are really trying to go after Elon Musk. It should be fairly obvious to anyone. Every time there's even just a piece of cardboard burning out front, it's making headline news. Anytime a car fire, that's candy for them, right? Gas vehicles as well. It just happens to be more popular to talk about it. Electric cars and vehicles and autonomous vehicles, that's new tech. So when those things happen, it is highlighted in a different way. And to a degree, it does make sense, right? But that is interesting to watch. And he's one of the people that are taking us into the future. Those 2 guys are not going to stop, right? Jeff Bezos, richest man on the planet, can do whatever he wants. You think he's going to stop? If they all of a sudden try to start taking him down and scrutinizing him in the same way that they're doing with Elon Musk, he could just literally ignore it. He doesn't need to even follow any rules. He does, but he doesn't need to, because playing that card, he could just pay his way out of any problem. I'm not saying he will, but he could. In the future, just accepting that as a truth, like that is happening, right? We're going out into outer space. Do you really think that parking all your money in gold, or parking all your money in the stock market, or parking all your money in real estate, or all your money in crypto, or all your money in fiat in a savings account, do you really think that's going to work? Do you really think that waiting for this potential play, this all-in move, to maybe play out in 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years is really going to be worth it in comparison to having your money in multiple things and not needing to wait around and not missing bull markets? Let's talk about a few of these bull markets that have been missed. And this routes back to some of these quote unquote experts who have made these calls. You have a lot of them that have been essentially making a version of the following call forever. The US dollar is going to collapse. There's going to be a global reset, and there's going to be a gold standard that has to come back because we're just printing too much money, and the debt ratio is out of control, and they can't prop up the Ponzi anymore. The pyramid scheme is going to fall, and finally it will be a righteous day for, the American people and the whole planet, because the toxic debt is everywhere. China's toxic debt is everywhere. The only difference is China's done an amazing job at scooping up assets for fake dollars. The US has done a shitty job at that. China's actually in a way better position because they've also been scooping up and they're a major gold holder. So they're positioned for any play, any outcome with this. All right, they're in the SDR basket along with the US dollar and a couple others. So no matter how this goes, dual currency, SDR takes over, China wins. No matter how this goes, the US doesn't necessarily win. We don't have a belt road, So anyways, my point is that, a lot of these economists and these experts, that's been their call. And this is no insult to any of them, but, you got people like Mike Maloney, Peter Schiff, Jim Rickards. They've been calling for this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Sit on gold, down with the dollar, sit on gold. In the meantime, they've missed by far the largest stock market bull run in history. Just in the Obama administration alone, there was 140% gain in the stock market that was missed. 40% so far since Trump's been in office. All that's been missed to sit on gold, to maybe one day possibly say I told you so. But from a portfolio standpoint, it doesn't make any sense to put all your money in one thing. That's a lazy move. It's based off an old, worn out model that's not going to drive you into the future. So talking about the future, what is your portfolio supposed to do then? Is it not supposed to be your legacy? Is it not supposed to be the thing that you pass on to your kids and that ensures that your family is set up for the future? Part of me feels like as we're born into this world, we're kind of like picking up this baton that's been dropped by our parents that ran at the wall, wore themselves out, and now are saying, look, dude, I don't really know what to tell you, but here's the baton, and that's the direction. So I guess you start running, right? And the world itself is speeding up. We all notice that. We all are seeing that. The amount of information, everything is speeding up. The millennials, the new generations are saying, give me more, give me more, give me more. The old generations are saying, whoa, dude, too much, slow down. You can assume, I think it's safe to assume that the next leap is literally going to be a quantum leap. We're on the brink of AI, a completely new monetary system, intergalactic travel, quantum mechanics, quantum computing is all like about to get a big jump. It's safe to assume that the next jump is going to be a big one, which is going to put people into a wheelchair. Their heads are going to spin. Some of the demographic of the current millennials, like my end, the 30 and plus, they'll be 40 at this point. The brain really stops accepting new ideas at 40, for males anyways. And so a lot of your habits and beliefs and worldviews are set in stone at that point. But the world will be moving so fast that you'll have to change on a dime. And those people will be, what I mean when I say pushed into a wheelchair is essentially they're going to lose their mind. They're going to be sitting in the corner rocking back and forth in the fetal position, not knowing what the hell to do with themselves because they just can't fathom how fast things are moving. And again, ask yourself, is your all-in gold position really going to do it? Even if it 100x's, is that really going to do it? If so, cool. Hey, you know what? Go for it. Remember, that's one thing that absolutely has to play out for the future of your portfolio to continue. Why not put it in multiple things? And this is where the buts come in. It's so hard to learn real estate and a new market and crypto and Forex, and just learning how to trade can take a lifetime. No, it doesn't anymore. There's vehicles that exist. There's training that exists. There's so much training you can get for free on YouTube. It blows my mind, which is why, even right now, we're in the era of specialists again, because the amount of information that exists for free is once again at an all-time high. So market sophistication has gone up once again in every market that exists on YouTube. The paid stuff has to be even better because the free stuff is now so good, right? To get people to hand over their dollars for, expertise. But coming back to it again, I just don't think one position, all-in portfolio, is going to cut it anymore. I really don't think that it's been able to cut it since the 2000s, maybe even the 1990s. I don't know, I was still a kid then, so I can't really speak about that. Just looking at the last 10 years and how fast things are moving now, and we extrapolate that model out, how fast things will be growing in the future. We'll have the highest amount of retirees on the planet. They will outweigh the 0 to 5-year-old range. The 65 and over will outweigh them. They already do, according to recent data. And so what you have right now is you have, once again, the further dying of an old model and this new model that I don't think many people know exists or maybe realize exists. The average millionaire has 3 to 7 streams of income. Billionaires have even more. Billionaires' job and goal is to own the entire sales cycle, the entire sales process from start to finish, all the way to even shipping to your door. Look at Amazon. They are the perfect example of this. Amazon will take on DHL, FedEx, USPS, UPS, and they should. Just as government gives tax credits and tax exemption and tax benefits to investors and real estate gurus, let's call them, they give tax credits and they give a discount essentially to those people to go and do their bidding, go and build houses for them, revamp houses, flip houses, do everything that they can't themselves do as a government. The government has tried to do these different types of programs to help rehabilitate people and child homes and things like that, and they've just done a bad job. The prisons, jails, it's better in the private sector for a lot of these things, and they will do the same thing again with freight and shipping things from person to person. We have Uber that's going to step into freight as well. They already are in it. So Uber, Amazon, they will step in a big way into freight and completely transform that whole industry, like Amazon has done with everything else. Amazon stepping into same-day deliveries in America and different pilot programs that they're running. Uber, same thing. Uber's running at a $10 billion loss right now, but they're very close to profitability because they are working on a systematic foundation. That once that foundation that model is worked out, then they will be unstoppable because they will be able to plug and play a model into any market. That is what they are working on. With all that being said, you have to, I would assume that the logical thinker, the aware, the self-aware thinker has to question, is my all-in position in crypto, is my all-in position in real estate, in American real estate, in one state, in one city, is that really the smartest move for my portfolio? And even just to take a step back and re-ask the question, what is the goal of my portfolio? What is my portfolio's job? To pay me out every month? To make sure that my kids have a future? To put my kids through college? To maybe pay me out and make sure my kids have a future and make sure that I have a retirement? Maybe it needs to do all those things. And if a portfolio needs to do all those things, then the plan around it needs to be created that will allow those things. And it's just, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen from sitting on one thing. Even though I think that it's a solid position to have, I do not think that everyone should go all in on one position like that. I think it's completely silly. And as we further go out and there's some sort of intergalactic credit system like you see in movies like Star Wars, that's not that far-fetched. There's a lot of pre-programming that goes on into movies. And if you're paying attention, you see that, you notice that. Because they need to, in a lot of ways, prep the cultures for what could happen in the future. And you can't just drop things on people. Like, let's face it, if right now alien crafts came down from the sky and landed all over the planet, people would lose their fucking minds. That's all there is to it. Yes, there would be a percentage of people who got it and they loved it and, they prospered and continued to, become enlightened. But there would be a huge amount of the population that would just lose their mind. They would not know what to do with themselves because their identity, everything that they believe to be true would be so fractured, they would not be able to recover from that. And the reason why you can assume that that's true is because you see it happening at a smaller micro level every single day. People losing their mind over politics, people losing their mind over social justice, people losing their mind over anything going on in the news. People losing their mind over losing some of their portfolio position, their worth in their portfolio, because of stock market performance, because of real estate markets, because of GDP, because of dollar performance. So this conversation I don't think is very advanced. I don't think that what I'm talking about is like this special, unique thing. I just think it's logical. I think that when you can allow yourself to think openly and not have your bias get in the way or your worldviews that are telling you, no, just because you don't want to see it, just because you don't want to look at it, I think that's quite silly. And if we can just look at things logically, then the pieces start to appear for you. You don't have to be this Nostradamus predicting the future. We could just make assumptions based on all the data that's available to us. And we just apply the behavior and we apply the fractal behavior to the other area and we can make assumptions on what's going to happen. Because markets themselves, no matter what they are they all pretty much behave similarly because they involve people and people move markets. The price of the market is based on human emotions. It's that simple. So ask yourself, and this is where I want to leave this, is your portfolio really positioned for the next 100 years, 200 years, 500 years? Yes or no? If not, how do we do that? Now, I got a little bit of a pitch for you. Is we did just release the first step, the first training, I'm calling it the light version of what I call the Bulletproof Portfolio. This will become part of the manifesto for what we're doing with the Empire community, helping people build their own empire. And what it is it's a video training and a PDF guide walking you through what I call the Bulletproof Portfolio, which is a multi-piece, multi-asset holding portfolio that is designed to weather any storm, that is designed to put you into the future without having to watch the markets day and night, without having to really become a guru or expert in one area. And so if you want to get that, it's $7. It's essentially buy me a cup of coffee, because if we were to meet in real life, I would just ask, hey, pay for my coffee and I'll talk through all this with you. This is a portfolio strategy that I'm actively doing, attempting to perfect myself. And so as things change, I will be adding to this, and I will also be releasing and launching the how component for each one of the pieces. So what you can expect in this video is the what and the why, not the how. How do I go do this for myself? I'm going to leave that up to you for now. You can join the community, which obviously puts you at the cutting edge of all these things as I'm discovering them. I'm sharing them in our Discord and talking about them openly as I learn things and make mistakes and so on and so forth, right? As I seek out experts and get access to different individuals, you will be able to leverage that yourself by just joining our free Discord, which all you got to do is provide your email address. All of that's going to be under this video, but I encourage you to, if nothing else, who cares about the paid products and all the pitch I just said, is question your portfolio, question what its goals should be, what you want its goals to be, and are you really positioned to create that? And if not, then simply make a change, make a new plan, and then wake up every day and work that plan. All right, that's it, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, just click the thumbs up. It helps more people see this. It helps it get shared in more news feeds and more suggested videos, and it helps this message get spread around. Honestly, I'd love to see a video like this get 1 million views. Reality is it'll probably get less than 1,000 like many of the videos on my channel. It's just the way it is with the algorithms on YouTube. If you did happen to find this, congratulations, welcome to the channel. If you like what you hear, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed or you just want to never miss a video, click the bell notification. The notifications on YouTube are tricky. They're becoming more and more difficult every day. So helping support alternative media, which is why I consider myself a channel of alternative media, it's really just that simple. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, share this around with friends. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm talking about. I'd love to hear your thoughts of what you see the future being with this next step in so many different markets, in so many different areas, this quantum leap. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedbacks in the comments below. Be on the lookout, my friends. More videos dropping soon. Bye.